a 5-number summary. A 5-number summary is made up of
5 numbers.
5 numbers, 5 pieces of data. Mind-blowing, I know.
Mind-blowing observation.
All right, so copy down this data set. Four, 5, 6, 4, 8, 3, 9, 10, 7. It's not always in order. So the first thing, before we even begin to look at 5-number summaries, we need to order the data from least to greatest. Before we do anything, you need to look at your data collection and you need to order it. You need to put it in order from least to greatest. And I like to have a copy of the numbers down and then cross out as I go. So my smallest number is 3. Then after 3 is 4. And there's another 4. Then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And after I put them in order, I then count. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces of data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces of data. So I think I'm good. So always make sure your data is in order from least to greatest. And here are the 5 pieces of data. So I'm going to put a 1, skip a line, 2, skip a line, 3, skip a line, 4, and 5. 5 pieces of data. 5 ways to analyze this data set. The first way to analyze any set of data is to always look for the minimum. How do you define the minimum? What's the definition? Safi? Smallest number in the data set. So if the first thing we look for is the minimum, looking at this problem, what is the minimum?
3.
And this is why it's important. This is why it's important to put it in order. My minimum in this is 3. First thing I look at. So if the first piece of data I collect is the minimum, what do you think the fifth, the last piece of data I collect is?
Maximum.
The maximum. And the maximum, by definition, Reagan,
The biggest number in the set.
what's a better mathematical word than bigger?
Largest.
Greatest. Biggest means size, right? Largest can mean size, amount, right? We want the greatest number, but I get it. Biggest makes sense. So looking at that data set, what is the maximum? 10. So the first thing we look for is the minimum. The last thing we look for is the maximum. What do you think the third? What's that called? Median. So the first thing we look for is the minimum. The last thing is the maximum. And the middle one is the median. And what does median mean? It's the middle number in a data set. But you have to make sure what happens to the data before you find the middle.
You gotta get it at least.
You have to order it in order from least to greatest. So when I find the middle, I cross them off. I like to have my paper. I have them written down. 3 gets crossed out with 10. 4 and 9. 4 and 8. 5 and 7. So 6 is my median. Now these two next pieces will be new pieces of data, hopefully, or new terms maybe. Lower quartile. It's abbreviated LQ. You use it when you find a box and whiskers plot. Lower quartile. And the definition of the lower quartile is the median below the median. The lower quartile, lower means bottom half, right? Lower means under. In quartile, quart means 4. We're breaking it into 4 groups. So we have the median. We now need to find the median, the middle, below the median. So what's my sample for this piece of data? What numbers am I working with for the median below the median, Tommy? 3, 4, 4, 5. I'm finding the middle below the middle. So 3 and 5 cancel out. And I have 4 and 4 cancel out.
4.5.
So what's in the middle of 4 and 4? To figure that out, if there are 2 numbers in the middle,
Divide by 2.
we add them together. 4 plus 4 to get 8. Divide by 2 to get 4. Because there are 2 numbers in the middle, right? So when there are 2 numbers in my middle, in my median, you add them together and get a sum. And divide by 2 because there are 2 numbers. You find the average. Since they're both the same number, you don't really have to do that, but it's good to practice. So the first piece of data is the minimum. The second piece of data is the lower quartile. The third piece of data is the median.
Oh.
The fourth piece of data is the upper quartile.
Okay, I will get there.
And again, you guys, mathematicians are not creative when it comes to vocabulary. It really means about what it is. So if the lower quartile was the median below the median, the upper quartile is the
Median. Why does science be like this?
the median above the median. The upper quartile is the median above the median. So what data am I working with in the upper quartile? What's my sample size?
8, 9, and 10.
My median is 6. So my sample is 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I'm going to find the middle, cross them out, and I'm left with 8 and 9. So for those of us that need help remembering, we're going to take 8 plus 9 Get 17, divide by 2. $8.5. The 5-number summary is the minimum, the lower quartile, the median, the upper quartile, and the maximum. 5 pieces of data. You may also, in addition to a 5-number summary, be asked to find the mean. How do you find the mean? What is the mean? What's another word commonly used, Tyson? The average. And again, just to remind ourselves, Camilla, can you tell me the steps for finding the average or the mean?
All of the numbers, and then you divide it by however many numbers there are.
Add the numbers and get the...
And get the sum.
Perfect.
And then you divide by however many numbers there are. And that's it.
Add the numbers and get the sum. Divide the sum by the number of data pieces. Does that make sense? Add the numbers and get the sum. Key. Have to do that. Then you take the sum and divide by the number of pieces of data. All right. 5-number summary. This is what we did today. 5-number summary. Minimum, lower quartile, median, upper quartile, maximum. Sometimes they want you to also find the mean. But the mean is not included in the 5-number summary. They will say, find the 5-number summary, and you have to know what that means. Five-number summary. Before you even start calculating the 5-number summary, what should you always do first?
Put your name on the paper.
Tommy, I liked your answer. You should put your name on your paper. Order your data from least to greatest. So after you put your name on your paper, order your data from least to greatest.